Hi, it's Greg. Welcome back. Thursday, January 14th, 2021. And today we're going to tackle the heat transfer lab. Okay, so this lab looks at the transfer of heat between two containers of water at a different temperature. Okay, and you're going to see how heat transfer goes in a fashion that kind of makes sense. And the main goal of heat transfer is that you're going to get the transfer happens and transfer occurs and the thermal energy gets transferred all the way until those two or three or different temperatures become the same temperature. Okay, and that's the goal of heat transfer, is that they become the same temperature. Okay, and then transfer of energy stops. The transfer of heat stops. So we're going to record some temperatures of hot water as listed here in the column and cold water listed here over the course of 6 minutes. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the little apparatus I have. It's called a calorimeter, and it's kind of been modified for this lab specifically. And then we're going to take a container, put it inside another container with two different types, two different temperatures of water, and then we're going to see how these change over the course of 6 minutes. Okay, so we're going to need a stopwatch. We're going to need the container itself. We're going to need two thermometers. Okay, and then once we're done with this, you're going to graph these results you get and the data you get, and these are all going to be in degrees Celsius as a separate line for the hot water and a separate line for the cold water, and then you're going to visually illustrate on your graph paper tomorrow how that's going to look as it get closer toward the 6 minute mark. Okay, so this data sheet in your collection right now is going to be worth 20 points. And then the graph you're going to do on Friday is going to be worth 10 points. You also have a conclusion question down here, down at the bottom. We're going to read, I'm going to kind of modify this a little bit, but you're going to make sure you read in Celsius. And I'm going to go through this with you. What I'm going to do now is go over and show you the setup. And then we're going to try to get our first temperature for the cold water and the hot water. And then we'll get ready to start timing when we put those two together. Okay, so that's where we're at now. You should have this open in Cameo, obviously, and then we're going to start recording our temperatures. Okay, so I'm going to stop this now. Now, the setup we're going to use involves this. It's kind of like a fancy aluminum can, and these calorimeters are used to measure how many calories are in food, but they've kind of been modified. So to meet this, I thought it would be good to use this for 8th grade. So what you have here is an aluminum can. Okay, it's kind of big. And then you have a smaller can with a blue ring around it that kind of fits nice and snug down inside here. Okay, so you can kind of see where that's at. Okay. And then at the top, you have this clear lid, and there's a hole drilled in here in the clear lid, and there's also a hole drilled in the blue circle, that blue disc, okay, that washer, that when you put these together, you can get a temperature reading of the hot by using the rubber stopper into the little container, and then if you line the holes up, you can get another thermometer to measure the temperature of the water on the outside of the big can. Okay, so that's kind of how that looks there, and that's kind of what we would do if we were in class. You would see that they would kind of get nested together, and then the thermometers you put down, and then you're going to use your stopwatch to count off 30-second intervals, and you're going to record the temperature of the hot water and the cold water every 30 seconds for 6 minutes. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to get as cold as water as I can get out of that faucet, and then I'm going to use a hot pot to make boiling water. We'll get a starting temperature, and then I'll put this together and we'll get into making our recordings, okay, and making our data collection. Okay, so step off here, I'm going to start running the water. Get it nice and cold, turn this up, get this to boil. Okay, so now we have the waters pretty much acclimated to where they need to be. And for our starting temperatures, we're going to look at the cold water being right about, and see that in Celsius, right about, say, 11 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the cold water is 11 degrees Celsius, and the hot water in the pot is right at 94 degrees Celsius. Okay, so we'll go back over here to the data sheet. See if I can get this to stand nice. And we're going to go over here and we're going to write down at 0 seconds. You're going to let it sit for a minute. We already did that. The yellow thermometer would have been the hot. That was going to be 94 degrees Celsius. Okay, 94 degrees. And what we say for the cold was a clear thermometer. We said that was going to be 11 degrees Celsius. Okay, so you're going to put those first ones starting at 0 seconds right on top of the first row there. Okay, so these are kind of in a way, but that's okay. Just put 94 and then put 11 degrees Celsius for the cold. And those are our starting temperatures. Okay, so we're going to go with this, and we'll go back here, and I'll get this set up, and then we're going to run down through the 6 minutes where they're going to run down through every 30 seconds. Okay, and you're going to record the hot thermometer would be the yellow one, and the cold thermometer would be the clear thermometer, or the cold water would be the clear thermometer. Okay, so we're going to do that now. Now, the plan is to take this, because this is where we get kind of busy with this. This goes quick in the beginning. We're going to take the cold thermometer out, set it there. We're going to take this hot thermometer. We don't really need that one, so we set it very gently down on the side there. Then we're going to take the little aluminum can with the ring around it. And this is where in class I would actually take over and get this set up for you to get started. Okay, you got to kind of put this together quick and then start your stopwatch. There'll be one person starting the stopwatch. Once I said go, other people will be, one person would read the hot thermometer, the other person would read the cold thermometer. Okay, but since we're doing this in the recording, you guys can kind of do this for yourselves, and you can always stop and play it back and so forth. So I'm going to take the hot water, pour about almost full into here, and then we're ready to go. I'm going to drop this in, put this on top, and then stick the thermometer in, and then we'll be on our way when I hit the stopwatch. Okay, so start, put it in, put that on, put this down, and then I would say go. And now we're on our way. And every 30 seconds, we're going to record the temperature of hot and cold in this contraption. Okay, and you would have to kind of organize it so that you would see it hot and cold. Remember, we started at 11 with the cold, 94 with the hot. And 30 seconds, I take a reading, and the first one would be 76 for the hot, and 13 for the cold. Okay, and that's how that would go. And then you wait another 30 seconds, and these 30 seconds kind of go quick in the beginning here. Ready, time, and I would look at it again. Hot would be 65. Cold would be, sometimes you gotta lift this up just a little bit, 15. And I'm gonna wait for another 30 seconds. In 15 seconds, we'll do it again. And that'd be a minute 30. Now we're at 58 on the hot. On the cold, we've gone up to still 15. Still 15. Now we're waiting for 2 minutes now. We've got 15 more seconds. You see how this kind of goes quick, and you gotta be on your toes, and before you know it, the time kind of goes quick. The 6 minutes will be up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Now we're looking at it being 54 for the hot and 16 for the cold. And they got about, and eventually this will slow down as they get closer to being the same temperature. Are they going to eventually become the same temperature? I'm not sure. We'll see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Now we're down to 51 degrees, and for the cold, we've gone up to 16 still. Ten more seconds, we'll read it again. For the 3-minute mark, they'll be halfway. Two seconds and 1. Hot's now down to 48. And the cold has gone up to 17. And we're ready for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Time. Now we're looking at it being 46, or not 46 rather. 46 for the hot. And the cold is going up to 18. So obviously, as you can see, one of these is changing more than the other. Okay, and that's going to be kind of a topic for discussion in a little bit here. 4 minutes. Hot, 45. Cold, 19. Five seconds. 4 minutes and 30 seconds out. Now we're at 44 degrees for the hot. Still at 19 degrees for the cold. Like I said, eventually they're going to, like I said, the goal is for them to become the same temperature. Now 6 minutes is going to do it. Obviously you can see there's a big divide between the hot and the cold still. Okay, but if you were to let this sit for, let's say, an hour or two, eventually it would become room temperature. Okay, 5 minutes. Now we're at 42. And we finally got to 20. And then we got 1 more minute, and then we'll be done. Okay? 2 more readings, 5:30 and 6 minutes. 5:30 is coming upon us right now. We're still 42. And the hot has gone to 21. And we'll get to 6 minutes, we'll stop this, and then that'll kind of be it for our data collection. Remember, the goal of heat transfer is for those two numbers to be the same. Okay? No one said it had to happen in 6 minutes. But eventually it will. Okay, and that's common sense. I'm going to stop. 6 minutes, final reading. We bottomed out with the hot at 41 degrees. And the cold bottomed out at, or I guess increased up to 22. Okay, and there you have it. Okay, you have all of your hot numbers, all of your cold numbers, and this is what you're going to use to make your graph starting tomorrow. Okay, so that kind of does it for the day as far as our lab goes. This does go kind of quick. It's one of those ones where if we had a full period, now you would take this and start your graph. You're going to make a line graph for the hot and the line graph, or of a separate line for the cold. Okay, so on your line graph, you're going to have two lines. You can kind of see how they're going to go and how they're going to flow from 0 seconds all the way down to 360 seconds, which would be 6 minutes. Okay, now cleanup's pretty easy on this. You just kind of take it out, set this down. This is warm, it's no longer hot. And then dump these two in the drain. And then it's kind of ready for next time. Okay, so stay tuned to Friday's recorded lesson so we can go over the graph. You should have all your numbers now. If you need to go back and re-watch this or whatever, then go ahead and do so. I know it's not the same as being in person, but I'm hoping that this will still kind of spark your interest a little bit. Okay, guys, we'll see you.